and this is the welcome interface, which you can see your last open document. You can rearrange them and all of that. It all depends on us. You can see the last time it's open, the size, the type of photo it is. But beyond that, you come here, you can see them based on their size and also their kind as well too. So you can arrange it. This is just a welcome, and if you want, you can go to open to bring up an existing document. Or if you don't have an existing document, let's assume that you are just starting, you start by creating a new document. So when you click on create a new document, this recent site will be blank. The reason why it's not blank is because these are some of my recent sizes that I've used in the past. So we have to the right here, we have the preset details, the width, the height, the orientation. So we have both portrait and landscape. It depends on us. Then so we have pixels, unit of measurement. It depends on what we want to design. So, and also we have resolution, which can be adjustable. So we have saved one. You can also save some presets for reusable. Like for example now, 8 by 4 feet seems to be the banner we have been designing in church. So when I want to design, so I've customized and saved by 8 by 4 feet, I can just use it to design. Okay. And straight away. And we have YouTube 1280 by 720. This is the YouTube canvas size, the thumbnail size. So we can save some stuff like that, and if we have some preset here, some document preset, you can fill up preset here and say some photo sizes. We have default photo size 7 by 5 inches, and we have landscape. We have landscape. This is landscape 2 by 3, landscape 4 by 6, landscape 5 by 7. You always see all of that here. So when you click on photo, and also we have them like that. So when talking about printing, we have different printing size. We have letter, lega, tablet, and all of that. A4 and all. So whichever one we want to do, we can always pick them. The artboard, art and illustrations, for those who design for illustration purpose, they have some sizes like that too. And the beauty of it is they can provide us with all the presets that will suit our home. We can always customize whatever thing we want to do for ourselves. So most of the custom design you see on social media is 1080 by 1080, or let's say it could be any size. I can say 800 by 800, but 1080 by 1080 is what we have been using over time. 1080 by 1080 because it's web. The resolution must be within 72 to 100, depending on how thick you want the pictures to be. Then the color mode must be RGB since it's web based. So if it is printing, the color mode must be CYMK, because printing runs in 4 colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, black. So that's just the basic thing about it. So let's go to web and let's see, we have 1080 by 1080. Now when we talked about artboard, now as far as Photoshop is concerned, I think for CS6 the idea of artboard is added, which enable you to create multiple pages. We have artboard file. Now if this is ticked and I click on create now, automatically I will have a text at the top here. When I click on the text, it shows angles like this.
Sorry, the artboard, what do you do?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to explain. Artboard allows you to create multiple design files on a single page.
Okay.
So if I click on this plus now, okay, just click on this and click on the plus, it's added another the same size design. So I can create this to be my design 1, my design 2.
Okay.
So if I want more, I can add here. It depends on the way I want it. So this gives me the power to create 4 different designs and on a document, or as many as I want to. So that's the power of artboard. But if you don't want artboard, let's close this. Let's say we don't want artboard. Can click create 1080 by 1080. Then I will untick this and I click on create. So it will not show any artboard file. Now,
Just one.
yeah, just one document. Now, if you click on this and hold down the mouse button, we have the artboard under it.
Okay.
So let's say along the line, you just say, oh, let me just use this as an artboard and all that. You can click on this artboard, then you can drag to cover the entire page, telling you that turn this page to artboard. So immediately it's turned to an artboard, and you can use plus to add multiple artboard. And you can see now that if I don't want to say no, I can hide this here. So I can design anything here, anything here, anything I want to design, I can design it here. I can design as many as I want to. So I can design it here, and this will be a complete design. I can export this alone if I want to export this alone. And if I've designed anything here too, I can also export it. And when you click on the title, you can adjust the artboard based on whatever thing you want to do with the artboard. So you can click on the first tool, which is the move tool, and rename each artboard. Double click on the name here. Just click home. Let's say about, and so on and so forth. That's how to use the artboard. Now, as far as Photoshop is concerned, if you see what we put here, it is inside this home artboard. Inside this home artboard. So anything we put inside this artboard comes under here, and anything we decide to move this, provided it's inside this, it goes along with this. And sometimes we can decide to move this guy out completely from the artboard. It will take it to the second artboard, and so on and so forth. So whatever thing we do on this, so it affects this particular design. So that's how artboard work. So let me close this and let's go ahead and continue our work. So when you create a file like this, if the final output will be on a TV screen, a mobile phone, and all of that, you don't need the resolution to be more than 100. So that you don't want the design that will be too heavy. If you are sending a graphics of 2 megabyte, 3 megabyte or maybe 10, 20, 50, I may not open it. So it takes, so that's why your design must be very light, especially when you are sending to media, social media, TV screen, and all of that. And just like that. So we have our color modes as well too. Black. You can customize the color to the color of your choice. Instead of it coming up with white, I just click on it, it comes up with another color. Now, Photoshop is made up of layers. Photoshop is made up of layers. And once we have that understanding that everything you do in Photoshop is in what? In layer. So I'm creating this now. I just click on create. So if I'm adding anything on this, it adds it on a new thing entirely. Unlike CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW too also has layer, but sometimes CorelDRAW allows you to design on the entire page. Not that everything has its own separate layer. It's not like we are arranging all these things. You put this here, you put another one. They are all stacking on. Not that they are all in the book. So they have their own layer. So with that, it makes Photoshop easy and help us to modify a part of the design. So let's say, for example, now we have our file, edit, image, layer, type, select, filter, 3D, view, windows, and F, of which you can click here. Okay, Windows gives us an idea of how we want to arrange our interface. The what's it called? The element we want to show here. If I click on this layer, something disappear here. So if I click on window layer, it shows hub. So every other thing we want to see on our screen can be seen from window. So this is what is it? Okay, we have some other thing like action. We want to see action, which is here. So and so on and so forth. And as far as Photoshop is concerned, they have some presets, preset design. You go to the top, so before the 3 buttons towards the edge here. So if you come here, we have this, which allows you to some presets, like you are having a theme, how you want your interface to be displayed. So we have essential, we have 3D, it will rearrange. You can see it as a structure our design interface. We have graphics and web, it will restructure the layer it sees and all of that you can see and interact with. We have motions, these are for those who create animations with Photoshop. You can actually create animation with Photoshop too. Yes. So we have this for, but it's not that efficient. So people, we have painting. So those who paint and all of that, those who do sculptures, and we have this and all of that. But the one I use majorly is what? Essential. Now let's assume that I'm using Essential and something happened that everything just scatter like this. Just look at what I'm doing now. Everything just scatter. I'm just clicking and dragging and everything scatter. And I don't know what next to do. Yes, you can start dragging them in and place it. Once you drag inside and it shows this blue border, it shows that it is stuck in that area. So I can just click here and say, you know what, reset Essential for me. So it automatically resets and puts all those stuffs, all those layers in their position. So you can double click each one of them to minimize each of the layer, to minimize and on like that. So that's on that. Now to the top here we have the title. If you see this, you have on title 1 at 50%, RGB 8 bits. Now it simply means that though this page, this entire page is in its 50%, not 100%. So and if you come down here towards this edge here, you see the percentage 50%. That means the zoom level is 50%. Is here. You can see the document size is 3.34 megabyte, 0 byte per 3.34 megabytes. So it doesn't have any bytes in front of it. So that's on that. Now, and you can see here when you click on the arrow in front, you have size. If you don't want to see the size, you can see document profile. It tells you the untagged RGB 8-bit format. So if it is document dimension, it shows you the dimension, the original dimension of the document, which is 72, which is what, 100 pixel by 100 pixel and 72 ppi. That's ppi means point per inch. We have measurement scale. You can see 1 pixel is equal to 1000. 1 pixel is equal to 1000 pixels. Then we have scratch size. This is the size that it takes on the system, because this is the size it takes on your hard disk. 580 MB to this. If this scratch size is full, now what the scratch file means is this. Now, out of 10.2 gig that this thing can take, it has taken 580 stuff. This scratch file allows you to save the documents, but if you have exhaust this, you'll be having an error that scratch file is full. If you are trying to save, it will not save the document, which means the size of your document is bigger than the size that can be saved here. So that's on that. We have efficiency, 100% efficiency, timing 0.5 seconds, that's the load time. Current tool, the current tool you are working, you are using. Move to, if I change this tool to add. So and on like that, that's current tools. So we have 32-bit exposure, of course. Saving progress. There's not any saving work. If I'm saving some things, it will show me the progress of the. So it depends on us. We have smart objects. There's any smart objects on the page. So let's go back to our document size, which is the default. So that's all that. I think we are trying to get ourselves familiar with the interface. By default, view ruler may not show. You can see that by default it's always like this. So you can view ruler. Ruler are what we use to make demarcations of where we can place our objects. You want things to be aligned, you can use your ruler, which of course I may decide to align this to the top again. So yes, I can change the color. The stroke should be gone. Out, completely out. So that's on that. Then we have this this guy, which can double click to edit. I'm still coming back to this. I'm just using the arrangement. Okay, what's it called? Okay, no fill. So I'm adding fill now. I don't need a stroke. I can take it away completely like that. So that is on that. Now if I want to arrange this as well towards the down side, I can always do the same thing, but you make sure that, because I'm using this vertical guide,
Yes.
this guy is not showing. Let me just change it from here so I can be showing. The stroke should be out. So there's a design here. I can select it, I can delete it, then I can create another one. So this guy has given me the privilege to align my height. I can drag it out if I doesn't need it again. And even if I don't do that, it doesn't come out when you are exporting the design. So that's how to use the ruler guide. So I'm going to leave that right now. Now to the top here, we have home. I'm not going to click that now, but here we have move tool. Now every tool we have here, once you select a tool here, it appears there. Now it now shows you some other properties of the selected. Like for example, now this is auto select. If I untick this, by default this will not be ticked. And like I want to, let's say I want to work on this, you tell me that you could not move the tool because no layer was selected. So I have to first select the layer that I want to work on. So now because this layer is selected, let me disable this tool. Because this layer is selected, this is rectangle tool, which is this. So if I try to move this, it is this one that is moving because this is the selected layer. If I want to work on this blue layer, I have to come and select the blue layer. So that is how the system works. But with that, you don't want to keep stressing yourself coming down here. Just enable auto select. Immediately you enable auto select, anyone you choose, it automatically picks the layer for you. And I normally use this show transform tool. And in some Photoshop fashion, it may not show. I don't think it's showing your own. It's just showing another, so I don't know why it's doing that actually. So if I click on show transform tool, what happened? It's added nodes to the edge, which allow me to do what? Modify. If I want to resize here, I can resize. If I want to resize here, I can resize. If I want to rotate, if once you move your mouse, you can see that the mouse will change. This is one type of mouse, this is another type of mouse. You can rotate. So that's that. And any modification that is done here from the property bar will also change to another thing entirely, which shows that since you have modified this, what you are supposed to see now, so we'll be talking about the new width, the new height, the lengths and all of that, the angle rotations and all of that. And we have, this is accept, this is cancel, and this is what? Warp. Warp allow you to remodify. You can see now I started with what? Rectangle, and when I warp it, what did you see? It's turned into another shape entirely. So once I'm done with it, I can just say okay, now this is no more a rectangle. So, and what did I do was I started with using the move tool, I resize it and all of that. So that's how we can use any tools that is selected here. Towards the top here, you will definitely see other tools attached to it that you can remodify. How you can modify that as well. So now let's talk about layers. Like we have said now, let's say we have layers now. Like I said, that everything in Photoshop is in layer. So I'm going to change this color. So if we look at this layer, we will discover that this is rectangle. Arrangement of each layers depends on what? On the way they are stacked here. Like for example, now this is down. That's why it's down. If I want you to come on top of this, I just drag. Click your left button mouse on your and drag. Once you drag up, it comes up. This is arrangement. So let's pick up a simple design and let's try to work around a simple design and let's do things. So we're going to start with using the use of rectangle. So I'm going to add this now. Rectangle, the fill color is what? Let's use this. So let's say we are trying to design this now. We may not be able to design everything, but let's start. We are trying to design the You and Career Initiative. So let's start with this now. Our color is this. Now, if you want to choose any color is not here, you can do where you can remodify it and choose any color of your choice. So just click on this arrow, this side, and choose color. So I already know the color. It is 000003. This is hexadecimal, and I'll just pick my rectangle. If I want a stroke around it, I can give it a stroke. But if I don't want a stroke, let me start by having a rectangle without a stroke. Alright, so I have my fill. Now the next one is the top rectangle. But before that, I have another small rectangle at the top which comes with white color. Okay, sorry, I'm going to undo that. Ctrl Z. So I'm going to draw another rectangle and modify that rectangle to white. So let's see. The rectangle needs to be modified to white. Just click on the property and it shows. When you click on property, you can do more modification on that. So let me just use your arrow key to move it. So this one is showing white. And the third rectangle, if you look at it, this one is smaller. Going by what we have in our design. So then the third rectangle, I can even decide to use the third color to be what? My background color. Instead of creating a lot of rectangles, I can just say, okay, control backspace. Now when I click on background, you discover that by default we have background.
Yes.
And here we have visibility. This I means visibility, and every background by default is always locked. So I can click on edit, fill. I have what? I want to fill background because this layer that is selected is whatever operation you perform on your page will affect. So I'll click on this. I have foreground and I have background. I have foreground. This is my foreground color and this is my background color. I'll still come back and explain this. But I want to choose, let's say I'm not even too sure. I can choose a color of my choice. Go to the color, choose a color of your choice. Now click OK. You can see that the background is filled with my desired color. That's using background. If you want to draw shape, you can also draw shape, but I think there's nothing really special in drawing shape. You can just use background, and so you can just rearrange it and increase the size of this. So we have formed our background. The next thing is what? You and Career Initiative. Now we'll work with text. When you click on text, the text is we have font family, which we can choose any color, any font family of our choice. So change the color of the text. The text, the one font is what? Black. So we have You. And so I'm going to Ctrl A to select all, and I can modify this. Click on this to increase the size. This is okay by me, but I'm not too sure of the font, so I can modify the font to another font of my choice. This one looks similar. You and alright. So and I think it needs to be bold. So if this cannot bolding it, yes, let's say this cannot bolding it. Select the text. Now we have alignment. We have arrangement here. This is align left, align center, align right. We have the color. Then we have this to be the way of styling our text. So this gives us more power to edit the text. Toggle the character. Then I can make it bold with this. We have some features here, like we want to increase the height. You want to reduce the height. But by default, let it be 100. We don't want to go more deeper on that. Now the character spacing is here. Character spacing is here. You want them to be closer. You want them to be scattered. So let's say this is and you can also click default. 0 is the default, and it depends on you. This allows you, this is useful if you are having multiple lines.
Okay.
Yes, so let's just stop there now. Now this is you, and I think I'm okay with my you and now. You and the next thing is what? Career. So if we are using the same text, we can duplicate this. Hold down your Alt key on your keyboard. Make sure you hover on the mouse, hold down the key, drag. It duplicate the text, and you can see that we have layers there.
Yes.
We have different layers there. Now the text is you, and I can rename this layer. Just click on the name to make sure that career. Just click on the name to make sure that you have this. Then I can, if I want to edit this text, I can double click on this text. Double click here, it select the text for me. Just double click once, it select the text for me. So career now. So we have career now, and in that case my career is white. Make sure the text is selected, change the color. Career, we can increase it if you want to increase it. But when looking at my design, you is separate and career is also what? Separate. So I'm going to break this text, select this, Ctrl X. Then I can duplicate this, and I can put my hand, and I can do what? Increase the size of my text. Yes, I think so. We have resume now. Now you and career. The next is what? Initiative. So I'm going to still duplicate this and change the text. This time around I use
Duplicate is hold
hold down the Alt key button.
right.
Yes, and drag. So when you hold down the Alt key, it changes the mouse to double. That's when you can. If it doesn't change the mouse to double, that means it will not. So you and career initiative. The only thing I did was I added shadow to this guy. Now you and career initiative is here. Career is here. Career is here now. Now make sure the career is selected. Now there are 4 aspects of this text, of this property, that you need to know. The first one is visibility. The second one is double click to edit. The third one is change the name. The fourth one outside here, once you go beyond changing the name, is property. Once you double click on it, it pop-ups another property layer where you can do more adjustment. I want to add shadow. You can see all of this now. I want to add shadow. I just click on drop shadow. Now when you tick this drop shadow, you can still click on this drop shadow. It changes the property you have here. So when you do that, you can adjust the angle. It depends on the way you want it to be. You can increase the size depending on the way you want it. You can increase the distance the way you want it to be, and you can reduce the opacity the way you want it to be. It's all there. We have some blend modes here that you can change and experiment each one of it. You can see here you have your opacity, you have this and that. So it depends on how you want it to be thicker. I think I'm cool with this. So I can say okay, you and career initiatives. Now you can say register, placing the word in your path. This is just a downloaded picture, and you can do that. I think you should be able to finish today. I just click on this. So one more thing that I've not talked about is the icon here, the icon we did at the top here. Now the this guy, this rectangle, let me say I'm starting with the rectangle now, and as far as this is concerned, you can actually use some tools to achieve that. There's point tool to achieve that, but I think you can as well use this to achieve that. Let's use this. Okay, I think the easiest tool to use is the pen tool. We have not gotten to that. I don't want to really stretch you more on that. I can just click on this,
Is that the pencil?
Yes, the pen tool. I can click on this. Then I can use my tool here direction selection to make some more modifications on this. So I'm going to zoom it now. Okay, the zoom tool is the magnify tool. When you click on the magnify tool, don't forget it also has property. Click on the plus to increase. So this is what I have now, and this is what I want to work with. So everything has what we call notes. So if this guy, so I can double click it to shift its position. So, and this one as well, so that I can have good stuff. So it may not be perfect on everything, but at least we are closer to what we want to achieve. So I can just add a circle at the top. Yes, a white circle like this. So that's how we do that. You can take the two together and group it if you want to group it together, or you can alt select to duplicate. Give this one, the new one is this. Double click here to change the color to black. Double click inside to change the color as well to what? Black. So, and since it is black now, I can hold down my shift click to select the second one. Then I can hold down my alt click to duplicate it. This one is smaller. I can go to the edge and resize it. Is it smaller? Okay. Then turned. Rotate the two. The white is out. So then since you are done with that, you can actually group them together. It's better you make sure that each one is grouped. Right click on it and say group, or you can convert them to smart objects. I don't really want to go to deep here now, because I don't want us to just, I've been explaining now, you need to practice as well. So I will limit it here, but let's just group this together. Let's start by grouping. You can use your Ctrl G, or you can click on group layer. Now I can just name it white. I'll select this to group it. I say group layer. I say black big. Then I will do this guy too, and I'll say group layer black small. Now the challenge you'll be having is this: if you attempt to move this guy, okay, I think sometimes because this is a group stuff. If I click on layer, if I attempt to move this guy to move the one, so since I want to move the group, I'll just change this from to group. So it will move the group. So since that is selected, to move the group, and we can always work on that. I think it's here. So I hope we have learned one or two things. So I'm going to stop here right now. You can put our text here, www.comfortdevelopers. And this will be our first class and first assignment. So our first class and first assignment. So I'm changing it to black. I'm changing it to black. Okay, and I'm reducing the size of the text so that it can fit into the. And if you need to adjust this, increase the height of this, you can do that as well. So I'll click on approve. So that is on that, and so here we come to the end of the first class. Okay, we have logo. We can bring in our logo too. Place embedded file. You want to bring a logo, just go on file, place embedded file. The same process you bring in picture, the same process you bring in logo, the same process you place pictures and logo. Okay, let's go to graphics. I have my graphics here. I have Comfort Developers logo here. I just place it here. Now place it somewhere here. I can resize it the way I want it to be. Alright, so once I'm done with that, so let's just have text placing the word in your pan. Placing the word. Okay, I'm going to, this is white, so you can pick color, placing the word in your palm. It begins with you. Palm. Placing the word in your palm is a question. You want the word to be in your palm. It begins with you. So yes, you can. It begins with you. You can duplicate these steps. I think they have the same. It begins with you. All right. So that's a sample design. Very simple. And now let's say we are done with our design now. So I want to save it so that you can have this file save as. Now if I click save as, that means I want to save with a name. Go to my document. I want it to be class 1. Class, okay, let's say class, I'm using class 2 now. Click on save. Now the file here, the name here will change. I will have an extension .pst. So that means it's saved. But let's say we want to send it to our mobile phone to be seen as picture. That is where we click on file, export. You save it as, you can save it, quick export as PNG or save as, but the easiest one, since it's web stuff, just use save as web legacy and click on save. Save it wherever you want to save it. I'm putting my own in my downloads and I'm going to send it to my mobile phone right away now. Oh, so you can send it to your mobile phone or wherever you want to send it to. So so that's the end of our first class, and that's your first assignment. You are also going to design this. I have the video here where you can use to, you can watch it and they practice.